I don't know if you know, Kelsey, but here in Latin America, we have one of the most dense cities in the region. Like actually 7 of the 10 most big cities in America are here. People actually are getting more stuff every year because they're getting access to consumption, getting access to debt, and in terms of they're improving their lifestyle, so they get more things in their physical world. So they need to store this stuff and they need to move this stuff somewhere.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Roberto Picon. He's the co-founder and CEO at Mudango. Roberto, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. I'm glad I'm here. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, excited to have you. So, Roberto, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Well, first off, I'm Roberto Picon, as you said. I'm from Chile, Latin America. As a profession, I'm an engineer. But after graduation, I went to the finance sector. This was actually kind of like my military school in terms of learning how to work, learning how a business works. I stayed there for almost 5 years, so it was a pretty good ride in the finance sector. But I always had in my mind technology. So while working in the finance sector, I was always thinking like, there's so many opportunities in the region, so many opportunities, especially in Latam, being the way it is. And always thinking in terms of how technology can help people around here. And just to give you like some sense of what I like to do, in order for not only to speak about work, I love running. I'm actually an ultra trail runner.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it. And you have like the best mountains around here in Chile. It's a very, very mountain country, and the discipline is pretty popular. So yeah, that's about me.
Wow, that's fantastic. So tell me a little bit more about Mudango.
Well, Mudango is basically a solution that's helping people move and store their physical world. So I don't know if you know, I don't know if you know, Kelsey, but here in Latin America, we have one of the most dense cities in the region. Like actually 7 of the 10 most big cities in America are here in Latin America. So we have Ciudad de Mexico with more than 20 million people living there, Sao Paulo with more than 20 million people as well, and other cities with 12, 10 million people living around here. People are really packed, okay? And at the same time, the places where they live are getting smaller and smaller. People actually are getting more stuff every year because they're getting access to consumption, getting access to debt, and in terms of they're improving their lifestyle, so they get more things in their physical world. So they need to store this stuff and they need to move this stuff somewhere. Mudango is basically the solution to help them do that.
Okay, so you saw a need and then you capitalized on it, right? So how and when did Mudango get started?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So we saw a need. It was pretty obvious that this problem was going to be a big thing, and it's going to continue to be a big thing for a lot of more years. But we actually got the idea in our head because one of the co-founders of Mudango, Nacho, came to us and told us, guys, I've moved 20 times in 3 different countries in Latin America, and it really, really, really sucks. It's always the same experience, like really informal. Like you don't know which companies are good, which companies are bad. You have like this really long tail of underinvested and underprepared partners or companies / trackers that really haven't evolved at the pace that technology has for the last year. So for the last years. So we started doing double click on the situation, and that's when we came with all the problem that I was mentioning before about density, space, and quality of the services.
Yeah. So break down what Mudango is for me.
So as I was telling you, we do moving and we do storage. In the moving side, we work kind of like an Uber for moving services. We have this network of trustworthy moving partners, which are small companies that work alongside with us. They connect to our technology, and we connect them at the same time with customers that are looking for a moving service or to move one or two things throughout the city or in between cities. And the whole experience lives in a platform, in a product, in a tech product that we created. So of course that brings transparency, that brings a lot of things that makes the experience seamless and makes it much more enjoyable, considering how much of an stress needs to move, And at the same time, as I was telling you, we also store things for our clients, and we use this same network of truckers to go get this stuff. Like it's on demand. People don't need to go to the actual facility where we store this stuff, and we bring them and leave them with this amazing digital packing list, which they can manage from their house, laying in their bed, watching Netflix, and we take care of all the ugly part of the business,
Brilliant. So it sounds like that ability to build that connection and link the two together is one of the ways that you're able to stand out from your competition. Talk to me about some other ways that you're able to too.
So yeah, the fact that we have these two amazing businesses that connect and feed each other obviously creates an amazing moat for us. So this is, I'd say, like the most important defensive or competitive or unfair advantage that we have with other competitors. But I'd also say that there's two other things that really give us the edge. One is the product or the tech focus that we have. So we're building a tech-enabled business. So when you see the usual competitors or the incumbents that we have, both in the moving and in the storage side, they're really offline. They're really not using technology as a way of building a business faster and scalable. And this is something that we are doing really well. So we became acquisition experts because when we started this business, we only had the moving side. And as you know, the moving side is mostly transactional. So you get people to book with you, do the move, but then you probably see them again in 2 or 3 years. So you needed to be really good at acquiring customers, at converting those leads into books. And that is something that we then adapted to the storage side, and we left with a true driver of growth from the product out. You know what I mean? And the other part is this network, or this scalable logistic network. So the fact that we have this virtually infinite network of moving partners allow us to bring all of the stuff to our storage facilities in a faster way and in a scalable way. So if you compare us to a normal storage facility, which imagine trying to do the same thing that we do, they would probably buy 2, 3, 4 trucks. Well, we have 300 trucks working for us without the risk of actually owning the asset, but in a much healthier way, which is working alongside these companies, helping them build a more scalable, recurrent, a more predictable business, and helping us to bring this scalability to the business.
So you mentioned that you were in Chile, kind of talking about being in Latin America. Talk to me about your experience in expanding to new countries.
Yeah, so as you said, we started in Chile. We're Chilean, and then we landed in Colombia, and lastly in Mexico. And I'd say Latin America it's being an entrepreneur in Latin America has the advantage that countries are fairly similar among them. So you have like the Spanish-speaking Latam, and then you have Brazil, and the Spanish-speaking Latam is fairly similar in terms of cultural similarities. For example, if you are an entrepreneur in Europe, you probably get very different markets, while expanding from Germany, for example, to France or to Italy or Spain. Well, here it's not that different, but you have this really smooth differences that you really need to understand and you really need to absorb in order to really be successful. Because you can do fairly well, but if you want to do excellent, if you want to build this amazing business that's going to be the champion in all of the region, you have to understand the subtle differences that each country has. And I'd say this is the most important thing that we learned while scaling. Mexico is a very good example. We had to really become a bit Mexican, and today we feel absolutely locals. It's been amazing. Mexico has been a really good expansion for us.
That's fantastic. So it sounds like you've been able to scale successfully and grow the business. Talk to me a little bit about what that growth looked like.
Yeah, so basically we raised a seed round approximately 18 to 24 months ago, and we've grown 15x since we raised this seed round. So it's been amazing. This seed round was mostly focused on two things, on two expansions.
Mhm.
One of them was Mexico, as I told you, and the other one was our second business, which is storage. So today we consider ourselves a moving and storage startup, but when we started, we were first a moving company. So this transition into having more use cases or more services for clients was a great deal for us. And the seed round definitely helped to scale the business, both in terms of business, as I said, and geographically.
Yeah. So kind of talked about how you were able to scale successfully. Talk to me a little bit about what your vision for the company looks like now that, you guys are, really scaling well.
Well, our vision today is building this huge company in Latin America that's going to be the champion in its space. So today we've created two amazing businesses that complement each other, which are storage and moving. But we are seeing that the opportunity is much bigger, because when people move with us, there's a lot of consumption there in that life event. So people usually need more services, need to buy things, or need to sell other things. And we also have the capability of helping brands and SMEs to sell to those customers, but at the same time help them with the logistics and help them with the position in the journey of the client to sell their products. So it's kind of like we're mixing together users and consumers with enterprises and SMEs, with businesses that are storing, moving, and also selling,
Yeah. And I think you touched a little bit on this before, but kind of talking about some of the challenges that your individuals that work with you, your customers have before they meet you. Talk to me a little bit about what that looks like and the importance of, what Mudango does.
In terms of difficulties with clients, you mean?
Yeah. Like the customers' challenges with moving and storage.
Yeah, of course. So this is I'd say that the biggest challenge that we've had is digitalizing the experience. So usually this works like this. So when a client or when a customer wants to move, they actually want to know which companies are good, which companies are bad, how much should they pay. So what they usually do is they look for different companies, which are usually offline. All of these companies come to your house. Sometimes they don't come, they don't show up. So the experience is kind of rough. After 2 weeks, they give you the price for the move. When you finally decide to hire one of them, the day of the move, again, maybe they don't show up, and also the whole coordination is pretty messy. So part of it is in your phone, part of it is in your email, part of it is in your phone. So the biggest challenge was taking all of these complexities during the journey and building a product that really brought this physical world into a tech product that could solve it. You know what I mean? So today we went from that experience to actually getting customers to book a move in 2 minutes, coordinated in a seamless, friendly, really not stressful way in our app, and getting then the service getting done by a partner that is trustworthy, and you can really put your home and your life in his hands. You know what I mean?
That's fantastic. So, Roberto, as we kind of wrap up this conversation, are there a lot of misconceptions that you see kind of in the moving and storage space or anything like that?
I'd say that one big misconception in the storage space, in the storage industry, at least in Latin America, is regarding the penetration of the industry. So today, Latin America has 1% of the square meter per capita that the US has. So the US has much more space to store stuff. And many people think, well, it's because Latins don't have this necessity. Latins don't have so much things as Americans. But that's not quite the answer. Actually, it's just that we were later to this development, and we came later. So people are today getting more stuff. They're living the same processes that the Americans lived starting from the 60s. And today we have a region that's going to be really dense, with a lot of material stuff, and they're going to need much, much more space to save stuff.
Yeah. So, like I said, Roberto, as we wrap up this conversation, is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with that we may not necessarily have hit on, kind of about the moving and storage space, about Mudango?
First off, I'd love them to visit Chile. You have one of the best countries in Latin America here to visit in terms of nature, in terms of people. So that's my first point. And the second one, if you're thinking about entrepreneurship, I'd say please obsess yourself with a problem and not with a solution. So you need to find something that really, really creates a pain for customers, and that's big, and that's important, and that is expensive, such as storage, such as moving. So sometimes when you try to build a product, obsess on the solution, you miss out on the problem itself, and you end up building a product that's not going to be a painkiller. It's going to be actually more kind of like a vitamin. And people can take vitamins, but they can absolutely not survive without painkillers. So you want a painkiller, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's brilliant. I jotted that down. Obsess about the problem, or obsess over the problem, not the solution, right? I think that's brilliant. And phenomenal advice too for entrepreneurs out there listening. So Roberto, this has been a fantastic conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time to break down Mudango, talk about moving in storage space, and really, just be on Business Ninjas today.
No, Kelsey, thank you. I love the chat.